Hello YouTube! Today I'm going to be talking about my time in the Memphis Blues Drum and Bugle Corps during my rookie season. This isn't really an in-depth autobiography per se. I'm just going to talk about the highlights, specifically how I learned about drum corps, my audition process, spring training in Humboldt, Tennessee, and finally the week of our tour. So I know I'm posting this video 7 months after the season ended, but I know posting this video will help newcomers understand how their summer will be spent if they march in nearly any open class drum corps. Okay, so this first part is going to be about the audition process and the beginning. So I first heard about Memphis Blues when I watched them during their inaugural 2023 season at Little Rock. It was a pretty blast of a show, although I really came to watch the Bluecoats, if I'm being honest. Watching all these corps compete really inspired me to get better at marching, so I might be able to play in a drum corps one day. That's what I thought when I was watching. Overall, I definitely gained a new appreciation for the marching arts. After talking to some of my friends when the event was over, I learned that you can only march until you're 22. Also, you have to kind of pay an arm and a leg to march summer in a world-class corps. You have to spend half the summer training that you can't work during the time or do schoolwork. You can't take any summer classes, basically. And the other half of the season, you're on like a tour bus traveling across the country. And really only a teeny tiny percentage of that time is actually performing the show in front of people. All this to say, it kind of scared me. I didn't feel prepared and excited at the thought of marching in a drum corps at that time. Okay, let's fast forward about 1.5 years when I had just finished my freshman year of college. I had decided I'd wanted to be a music education major and had gotten to know some of my friends in my studio who had marched multiple world-class corps. He showed me videos and clips of his time in Madison Scouts and the Blue Devils and inspired me then to march as well. I also kind of felt pressured by the age cap rule, and I knew I only had 3 more summers I could legally march in a world or open class corps. So about a month into summer break after my freshman year, I decided that I really wanted to march a corps, and I started looking around, and Memphis Blues really stuck out to me. They were one of the few corps still taking brass applicants in my area, as in like a 5-hour, 6-hour radius. And also it's because they were doing a tour that was only a month long. I knew I didn't want to spend my whole summer marching in case I actually hated it or something. Another big part that played into it was their cost. Their season that summer was going to be $2,000 when they first came up with it, but they then changed it to $1,700 right before the season actually started. So it was a pretty good deal, honestly, for the amount of education you're receiving. Okay, anyways, I emailed Keith Hall, the corps owner, and asked him what I needed to send in for a video audition, because this was pretty late in the audition process. Honestly, a lot of people, like most corps, will take auditions in the fall. And by this point, it was already early summer of that season year. And he emailed me back, and he told me, and I quote, "Please share a short video of you demonstrating your playing and marching skills. You can play anything you wish." Quote. So that's literally what he said. So it was a very vague response. So I kind of just looked at what other corps made their video auditionees record. So that's where I got my basic idea of like what judges are looking for. So my video audition included the Arkansas All-State Etude that I already learned, 2-octave concert C major scale, and a box drill while doing lip slurs. I actually had that video audition posted to this channel if you'd like to take a look at that. All right, and so spring training. Spring training was not what I was expecting at all. I had watched clips, done my research, marched with my high school and college band, and yet none of these things prepared me for what I was going to go through. Okay, I have a picture posted up now of what the schedule looked on just the second day of training. So from 7 a.m. to basically 9 p.m. with some breaks in there, it was full throttle. This was the schedule needed to march a show with 100 sets, have 4 pages worth of music, and learn the fundamentals of visual performance. The first week of camp was just learning all the sets and memorizing the show music. While this sounds simple, it was very hard to do in practice. Many of the people who march in open class corps are still in high school and are developing marching fundamentals, and also fundamentals of their instrument. So you kind of gotta have a large crowd. You gotta wrangle together and get on the same page. It was very hard to do. I definitely got through the first week by the skin of my teeth. It was much more physically and mentally taxing than I ever expected it to be. During this week, though, I auditioned for 2 baritone solos in the show, and I actually received them, so that was a plus. Although one was more by luck, as the show designer had already put my dot as the one with the solo in the drill book, and that was just pure random, so that was really random, and I'm very grateful that I was lucky enough to do that. After that, the rest of spring training was pretty uneventful, save for some staff firing drama that, all corps tend to have at some point. It was truly amazing to watch and experience what a group of highly motivated teenagers and young adults can do in a very short amount of time. 1 month long season is really short for even an open class normally. I'm so glad that Memphis Blues gets to go to finals in Indiana this summer in 26. They get to have a longer season. I think it's about 2 months, maybe 1.5. I'm not sure exactly. And can't wait to see where they stand among the rankings of all the open class scores. Okay, now I'm going to talk about showtime. Performing our show was definitely the highlight of the whole season, honestly. I was the baritone soloist, so I felt a lot of pressure to not mess up, and it gave me just even more motivation to really nail it down. The last week of our tour, we went around the southeast United States to perform our show, so South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama. It was awesome. The show was almost entirely based on Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin. It's a great piece. You should definitely give it a listen. I'm so glad that our last stop was at Little Rock, though, because that is where my home state is, and basically all of my friends go to DCI Little Rock. It's amazing. It's an amazing venue and everything. And I got to talk to all my friends and saw my parents after the show. It was awesome. So it was definitely an irreplaceable experience in my life. It was awesome. About the show, though, although I don't have any headcam videos, I will link some in the description of this past summer's rehearsals. So, I know a lot of other people. I think there's a mellophone cam, trumpet. I know. I'll link those in the description if you want to watch those. I'm not sure if there are any baritone clips, though, as of yet. I haven't seen any. And so I wrote this while I was writing the script, but I'm starting to realize how glad I am that I marched Memphis Blues this past summer. It really taught me how to march well and play some awesome solos. But I feel like I grew way more as a person, and more than any 1 month long event in my life. I have grown so much through that. I hope this has educated or even inspired you to march. I hope that you watch my other videos I posted to this channel. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye.